Around the table, favorite Thanksgiving memory, and crickets.
Thanksgiving Day football games were no joke. We weren't out there to have fun. We were out there to win, period.
As a 10-year-old kid, to have 7 teenage boys, I thought I was at the Super Bowl.
What people didn't know is that our quarterback played Canadian professional football.
Oh. My last name being LaRue, in kindergarten they started calling me Poo Poo LaRue.
Would walk through church. People would just see if it worked. And I'd walk by and they'd go, "Hey, Boo." I would go, "Yeah."
So will that be your grandfather name?
100%.
I like it.
But yeah. I will tell you, my wife, Stacy, makes the best strawberry cake I have ever had. The first time she made it, I took one bite and I said, "Get this out of the house. Ow." And don't ever make it again.
You're listening to the Misfit Preachers, Tullian, Jean LaRue, and Byron Yan from ProdigalPodcast.com. We're plagiarizing Jesus one podcast at a time. Now, here are the Misfits.
This is Misfit Preachers.
Yes.
I'm here with Jean LaRue and Tullian Chivijan, and we want to triangulate a welcome to you to our Thanksgiving celebration extraordinaire.
Gobble, gobble.
All right. So we're going to do what we always do, which is to take the script that's been handed to us and drop it in the shredder. We're not going
I want to talk about what I'm thankful for.
We're not going to talk about thankfulness and hedonic adaptation, John, like you wanted to. We're not going to talk about mindfulness and why gratitude journals are good or any of that. We're going straight for the bad mood attitude Thanksgiving. I'm kidding.
Oh,
This
nice.
is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to learn the peculiarities of each of us.
Oh.
And maybe give some hints. We are the Martha Stewarts of Misfit Preachers. You guys ready to go?
I think that
So
should
if
be
you're
a mug.
listening,
Yeah.
if you're listening today, and maybe you're at Thanksgiving and you're with family.
Or on the way. You could be on the way to spend Thanksgiving Day with the people you love.
Yeah, you're on the way, or let's say you're there. And you're, how could we say it, depressed and ready to leave.
Sad.
We're here for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing. So give it a listen. Give it a spin. You ready, guys?
Ready.
Around the table, favorite Thanksgiving memory, and crickets.
Favorite Thanksgiving memory would be we always had a neighborhood football game with all the boys after Thanksgiving. So it probably 1 o'clock, people would start. We had these guys that lived behind us named the Stifles. They had 7 boys. And I mean, it was literally the greatest as a 10-year-old kid to have 7 teenage boys. I mean, I thought I was at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I would agree. Afternoon football games on Thanksgiving Day. The Cowboys usually come on at 4, so it would have to be before the game. Sometime between eating and the Cowboy game starting every year. Growing up and when I was older. When I got older, we would have it in the morning. I would get my kids out of the house. We would go to a field where we would meet a bunch of other people, and we would play from like 9 to 12. And it was serious. It was no joke.
Yeah, I get it.
Our Thanksgiving Day football games were no joke. We weren't out there to have fun. We were out there to win, period.
My favorite Thanksgiving memory doesn't involve any of my family because we were in California at the time, Los Angeles, going to school. And a friend of mine said, "Hey, why don't you come join us for the Air It Out, the early official flag football organization, like the nationwide thing." And they had like pro level, amateur level, and then this level called Joe Average, just novices. I played high school football, signed in college, and then bounced. But so our name, we had to come up with a name, so we called ourselves Joe Average. What people didn't know is that our quarterback played Canadian professional football.
Oh.
And we won our division straight run and win.
Thanksgiving Day routing.
Thanksgiving Day, Balboa Basin Park in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area, down in the valley, and I caught the winning touchdown.
How can you top that? That you can't. That you will go to your grave and not have a better Thanksgiving Day memory.
I don't think I will. And
No,
it's like the stories I tell my sons about that one time.
How old were you at the
Game
time?
was on the line, 23.
Do you, when you would play,
Yeah.
would you try to envision a professional player that you wanted to play like?
When I played in high school, I was running back, so definitely an Emmitt Smith sort of guy in my mind at that time. On the field of play in Balboa Park, I was snapping the ball. So it would be other brother Kelsey at this point. But they
Gotcha.
didn't expect us. And the thing was, I was calling up plays.
Yeah.
Like scratch routes and
Isn't it fun?
double hitches and that kind of thing.
So
and I go,
fun.
I said, don't throw me a pass all game. And when we need it, I have surprising speed. What was your 40?
I don't remember. I'm fast though.
In the day.
That's the one thing I got. I got high calves,
In the day.
which don't look good, but that's what all the sprinters have and the wide receivers. Yeah, you've got calves.
He does.
I ran about a 4.8 in high school.
Yeah.
Anyway,
fast.
so at the last minute, we called the play.
You did it.
They let me go, didn't keep their eye on
Boom.
me, and I was like, boop. It was great.
Solid.
And then we had people over to our house, our apartment, and made them a Southern Thanksgiving.
Love it.
Great memory.
All right. It is not Thanksgiving without blank. It is not Thanksgiving without blank.
I mean, for me, Dallas Cowboy football.
They always play the Redskins on
There's a
It's not
footnote-
always,
There's a
but-
footnote here.
Close.
Except for the Dallas Cowboys.
No,
I mean, had to be. My whole day, every Thanksgiving,
Yep.
was geared toward the kickoff of the Cowboy game, whoever they were playing. Every year. It still is. My boys, adults that they are, will have their own Thanksgiving in the morning. They will convene at my house
For the
kickoff
game.
to this day. Yeah, that is the highlight for me.
yeah, mine is football as well. The Ole Miss Mississippi State game, the Egg Bowl, is on Thanksgiving Day until this year. Of course, it's not.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a
this
game
year-
that's a game that's been on Thanksgiving
Forever, and they
Wow.
moved it to Friday this year. I don't know why they did,
Huh.
but so we'll be there Friday. But my favorite part is that I got married on Thanksgiving to Val.
Wow.
Yeah, we got married. We got married in the morning before the football. You got to love this woman. We got married on the square in Oxford, Mississippi, before the football game. Had our reception in a bar on Oxford Square. Took a rickshaw from the square to the Grove and ate chicken wings and drank beer as our reception. And she wore that dress and rocked it all day.
That's awesome.
That is the greatest thanks wedding
Yes.
description I've ever heard.
Yeah,
and
me-
who
I agree.
knew there were rickshaws
I
in
know.
Oxford, Mississippi?
Well, it's like a bike rickshaw. I don't know.
Yeah.
There wasn't actually somebody with two sticks running. I mean, I'm not in Bangladesh.
Well, that's what a rickshaw means. That's what I had in mind.
Then I was on a trike.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Did it bing bing jing jing?
A guy left a manufacturing plant in a tricycle and put us in the basket.
That's fantastic.
I know.
That
Thank
is-
you for
that-
ruining my story.
So it is not Thanksgiving without thanks wedding. Is that what you're saying?
Thanks wedding.
Without an anniversary.
Yeah. Do you?
I celebrated on Thanksgiving. There is an actual date that Valerie celebrates, but I consider the day to be our anniversary.
You want to give anything else to give us some color in your life because you're developing monochromatic descriptions.
No one has ever said that to me.
I mean, I think that's the farthest thing from the truth about
I don't
him.
want you
I
to go
mean-
there. You're not that, brother. That's what I'm trying to save
Thank
you from
you.
yourself.
I appreciate it. That's what friends are for.
Don't quote it, Brian. Don't quote it.
It is not Thanksgiving without, I mean, at this stage in my life, this is going to sound boring.
No.
My kids,
And
grandkids.
there it is.
I've got 3 grandkids.
What do they call you again?
Tutu.
That's so good.
Tutu was my childhood nickname because my brothers and sisters couldn't say Tullian. So my dad said, well, just call him Tutu. I heard Tutu from the time I was 2 years old. So when I outgrew that name, this is long before I had grandkids. I mean, I'm in my late teens, early 20s. And I determined that when I eventually became a grandfather, I would resurrect my childhood nickname, and my grandkids would call me Tutu. So that's
cool.
what they call me.
That's so cool. I like it.
Did you have a nickname,
It
childhood
fits.
nickname?
Did I have a childhood nickname?
Uh-huh.
I did. My mother disliked, that's in quotes, my biological father so much that he named me Byron Forrest. It was Byron Forrest Wells at the time before I got adopted. She hated him so much that she changed my name. In fact, my biological father named my sister Stacy Jelaine Wells, middle name after the most beautiful woman he ever saw, not my mother. True story. So at some point...
Sounds like a real charmer.
Yeah. He was good. Let's say he was good for growing hair and creating carbon dioxide. That's really his wheelhouse. But my mom wouldn't call me that. And so it started with Boo Boo Turley, which I have no idea where that came from. Hey, Boo Boo Turley. And then it went from that to Boo Boo, and then it went from that to Boo. And from my entire childhood up until the time I literally went to seminary around the age of 22, 23, master's degree, I even through that. And then when I got my first church, I changed it back, but it's Boo.
Boo.
And I would
Like
walk,
Halloween.
I would walk through church, and people would just see if it worked. And I'd walk by, and they'd go, "Hey, Boo." And I would go, "Yeah." And they would go. They would turn to each other.
So
and go,
will that be your grandfather name?
100%.
I like it.
It should be.
I'm not sure I can use my nickname as my grandfather name.
What is? I was going to.
What was it?
Well, when you're a kid, you get nicknames because of things. Well, regular names because it rhymes with the name. I don't know what rhymes with Chavijan, but
religion.
My last name being LaRue, in kindergarten they started calling me Poo Poo LaRue. I'm telling you,
you're literally going to say that to us.
I'm telling you, when my mother died, and I was in the receiving line at Edmund Fay Funeral Home in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. This guy walks up and he goes, "I'm really sorry, Poo Poo."
Don't you love that?
My niece and nephew, Charlie and Helen, call me Uncle Poo Poo.
But I actually, whenever I'm around anybody, an adult that's known me my whole life, and they call me Tutu, that is endearing to me. And they don't do it because they're trying to be funny.
No.
That's what they called me.
That person wasn't being cute. That's how they know me.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that.
It's very endearing.
Going back to another question we asked another time from the cube of frivolity. One of the weird habits I have is that if I get close to somebody, a friend, and friendship for a while, I'll call them by their middle name.
Really?
So my friend Scott
That's
Slade,
why you call me Tullian. That is my middle name.
It's his middle name.
You didn't even know you were doing it.
Second middle name.
Right.
Well, when we become friends, I'll dig in there. Good night, Cleveland.
Boom! Take that, Thanksgiving.
Okay.
It's feeling just like my family's Thanksgiving now.
So Scott Slade that I mentioned, this guy's getting tons of shout outs. Really great guy. His middle name's Horace. So I am the only one in his life that calls him Horace. And I saw him recently, and for the first time in a long time, and he goes, "I've missed you, man." I go, "What have you missed?" And he goes, "You're the only person that calls me Horace." And I like to hear it. And then just my brother-in-law, Thomas Larry Dickinson, and I call him Larry.
Yeah.
And it's weird. All right.
Nice.
Moving on.
Yes.
Item number 3 on this really joyful Thanksgiving discussion is this, ironically, biggest family blow up at Thanksgiving you've ever experienced.
Ooh.
I don't remember the biggest family blow up, but I remember the most awkward feeling Thanksgiving.
Oh.
It was Thanksgiving.
You've got my attention.
2015, post all of my shit happening, and I was living in Orlando at the time. My first wife and I were not yet divorced. We were about a month away, 2 months away from it being finalized. I drove from Orlando back to South Florida, back into my home with my then wife, Kim, and my 3 kids and my daughter-in-law at the time and my grandson. And I don't remember there being any kind of blow-up. I don't remember there being any kind of knockdown, drag-out, shouting match, fight. but I remember everyone around the table felt awkward, and I thought it would be a good idea after everything everyone had gone through and is going through, have Thanksgiving as a family, and it turned out that was.
You brought the awkward salad, did you?
Yeah, we all brought the awkward salad.
Was it super quiet? Like just a lot?
It's never quiet in our home, as you can imagine, but it was awkward. It was awkward. There were some tense moments, but nothing. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, no 911
But it was weird.
Yeah, and in these sorts of circumstances, broadly, there's a moment where you have to pierce the awkward.
Yeah.
And then it gets better as you go from there. So my biggest Thanksgiving blow up is me. So what's the saddest song that you can think of, John? The saddest
song.
Saddest song. Go to your playlist. What's our go-to sad song that we sing?
Oh, All by Myself. Sorry,
So
you didn't. I mean, I was trying to follow you.
I wanted you to get it quicker so that people would know we're friends. But if the listener could cue that up in their head, or literally cue it up, I'll tell my story. I haven't been invited to a family Thanksgiving or Christmas or any event in 5 years. 5 years. That is
like extended family.
Yeah.
You're not talking about your kids.
Oh no, my kids. We do the normal.
Right.
That is your family, by the way. Yeah. I have to remind my siblings that all the time, and my mother from time to time. I love you guys, grateful for you guys, but when I think of my family, it is my wife, my kids, my grandkids. I got my tribe.
Nice. Anyway, pity party.
I'm trying to think of the worst family. There isn't really one that sticks out.
Are you saying that there's so many that it's hard to pick one?
That might be what I'm.
It's not the exception; it's the rule.
That might be what I'm saying. I can remember several of them being somewhat awkward, but no real major blow up. I remember a pretty significant fight in about 84-ish. When my dad had this great idea. He lived over in Clearwater Beach. We were gonna do the turkey trot as a family. Like our Thanksgiving family day, it was like a total rebellion. Like I don't want to go run a 5K
right.
ever, especially on Thanksgiving.
If you ask you to do something, if I ask you to do something, you say no. And I go, you sure you want to? I never go to the third. Never.
No. I'm
venture into
crystal
the third.
clear.
If he tells you no.
It's a hard no.
It's a hard
no.
Yeah.
I'm
hard.
very similar. Yeah.
Hard no. I just don't get asked to do things. I'm just kidding. All right. Not.
Byron, if you're available, we can take some email invitations for you.
Sure.
I mean,
poor Byron.
Yeah.
Somebody invite this pathetic person to their Thanksgiving
just send
family
the email
dinner.
to Byron at somewhereintheunitedstates.com.
Yeah.
Rent a loser at. All right.
Aw, don't say that. It's Tutu. Oh, you're Tutu. What is your boo?
Hey,
don't say that, boo.
Boo boo. All right. Turkey or ham?
Turkey.
Ham. Honey baked ham.
Oh man.
Not even
Are you
close.
serious?
I mean, I like turkey, but if I had to choose between the two, honey baked ham.
Yeah.
I'm turkey, but deep fried.
Agreed. I was just about to add that.
That's not true. In the last 3 years, I can't remember which Thanksgiving it was. First time I ever had
a fried one.
I had heard about deep fried turkey for decades. Had never had it. Yeah. It's good.
I had one of my most favorite Thanksgiving memories is we had some neighbors when we lived in Huntsville named the Jacobs. And so Steve and I would fry turkeys together. I mean, because if you go through the drama of heating up, 5 gallons of oil, you want to do more than one turkey. So we would fry them. And there was a Thanksgiving when we brought it out of the fryer, put it on the counter to carve it, and everybody went to the counter and picked it to the bone, and no turkey made it to the table.
Wow.
Everybody, it was our favorite. Everybody's like, that was the best Thanksgiving turkey.
What's good?
Because it was hot and the crust and the
crust.
Dude. So what we would do is just buy turkey breasts.
Oh.
Not a whole turkey.
And because they cook faster. And so we'd have like 6 out on the
and deep fry them.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never done that. I've only done the whole one.
The year.
Have you done a turducken?
Oh yeah. My dad did. I didn't.
Okay.
You popularized the turducken.
John Madden.
Well done.
Pass.
The greatest sports announcer of all time.
Agreed.
And there will never,
Agreed.
ever be one that even comes
even better
close.
And the
than
best
ours.
duo,
I would go
Ian L.
say-
Michaels.
John Madden.
I agree.
John Madden was a master teacher who just happened to be a commentator.
Back to when I won the aired out flag football championship at Balboa Park on that Thanksgiving Day.
Was it really
I have a
called?
feeling this is going to be referenced a lot.
I know. Is it really called Balboa Park?
Balboa Basin Park.
Is that like from Arrested Development, like Balboa Island?
It's in that area where they filmed
I
it.
love Arrested Development.
I played the golf course there too. It's a great muni. Anyway, long story. I went home to fry a turkey for the first time by myself, having watched my dad do it, and I walked out on a porch, balcony is about the size of this table.
I know where the story ends.
Overheated the oil, dropped in the turkey, and guess what happened?
Fire.
Yeah.
It's a bomb.
Burnt our curtains,
Oof.
almost burnt the thing down, and I'm out there going like this so that the soup doesn't see me, and it's like
It's a bomb.
how about sliced turkey from Kroger? So it was terrible. I was a total moron move. All right, cranberry salad or cranberry out of the can, like the
With the ribs on it still, where you can see the lines.
See the can lines?
Yeah.
I think I gave away my answer.
I'm not a huge fan of cranberry, but I would have to go cranberry from the can.
It's a
I like the salad if it's good, but I'm a can guy.
Yeah.
I like there's just a little bit of sweet to go with the savory on the turkey.
I know, but what is it about the canned?
It's the ribs. It's the
It
can
is the
shape.
rib. And
I always try and cut it on the things.
It's that turkey. I mean, that turkey. The texture of it.
Yeah, I'm wholeheartedly agree. It's the texture of
Huge texture guy.
it. Me too.
And the next day,
Oh, even better.
turkey
Turkey sandwich.
turkey sandwich, and you got a perfect slice. And I go to Trader Joe's and I get wasabi mayonnaise.
What else
Have
you
you
put?
had your mayonnaise?
Yeah.
Now? The wasabi mayonnaise.
I'm not a real mayonnaise guy. I don't mind it, but the wasabi mayonnaise I have had. Yeah,
So
of course.
good. Just
Wasabi anything is good.
2 wonderful discs of sliced cranberry.
Stop
I
doing
can
that.
see it. So yours can.
Can?
And it doesn't matter anyway because the cranberry salad always gets left in the refrigerator and somebody goes, the salad.
Right.
So it works. What was that saying?
I can't read my writing. Oh, do you watch the parade or not?
I like it when it's on in the background. It's festive to me, but I don't sit and watch it really. Not. I mean,
If you were gonna watch it, which channel? ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox? I mean,
I don't even know.
Al
I don't
Roker?
know. I mean, ABC pops in my head, but
Al
I don't even
Roker.
know why.
I'm NBC because I want to see if Al Roker kept the weight off.
It's true. NBC. I'm changing my answer. NBC.
Are you a parade guy, Byron?
No. I don't like parades. I don't like carnivals. I don't like rodeos. I don't like, I love state fairs.
Yeah, because I was getting a clown theme going. I was
No,
wondering
it's not-
whether you just
It's
got,
not really about that.
had a
Like,
party that
I got some
went awry.
weird it's not really phobias, but when I was in Israel twice and people want to go to the Dead Sea, and I wouldn't do it.
Because.
I don't want to get in the Dead Sea.
What does that have to do with not liking carnivals?
Nothing.
And what does any of this have to do with Thanksgiving?
I don't know. I'm so confused.
Dead Sea. Jesus near there. I'm thankful for him. Thanksgiving. And
There you go.
When we're
well
back.
done.
I mean-
well done.
And we're back.
We're just 2 people away from Kevin Bacon.
There's a game of that name.
What's the last one? I can't remember.
What-
I feel like just now my voice. Remember that that Brady Bunch? The
Yeah.
J.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little hoarse.
Peter's voice was
Peter.
changing.
Yes, Peter. Thank you.
Peter. All right, poo-poo, let's go. All right. First of all, pie or cake guy? Even if it's not your favorite, if they're on the table, which do you go to?
Pie.
My
to
favorite
your
dessert of
No,
all time
no.
is strawberry shortcake. So by default, I'm probably more of a cake guy. But you give me pecan pie or apple pie with a little vanilla ice cream on the side.
The angel fruit.
Now, do you like like things with strawberries in general? Strawberry flavor?
Yes, but I don't necessarily like strawberries by themselves. I mean, I eat them.
There's a strawberry cake from this restaurant called Primo's in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm going to drive it to you for falling in free.
Listen, I want it, but I will tell you that my wife, Stacy, makes the best strawberry cake I have ever had. The first time she made it, I took one bite and I said, get this out of the house now. And don't ever make it again. Because, I mean, it is, I don't even know how to describe it. Unbelievable.
Then I'd like Stacy to make that when I come for falling in free.
No, I want both.
Yes,
you bring it, she'll make it, we'll eat it.
Yes.
I have a fear of strawberries based on trauma that I had. I was cycling. And I was like on a 40-mile loop, and about 20 miles, I'm in Arrington Vineyard down in Williamson County. And there's a farmer's market open. It's strawberry season. So I go in there and just buy a pint of strawberry, get over in the shade, and I'm drinking water and protein and that sort of thing, and I'm just eating strawberries, and they're great. Well, you know, it's roughage, if you know what I'm saying. You just eat straight fruit, it's not going to have a good effect. And I'm like 5 miles on the back side of that trip, bike into the woods.
I think I know where you're going with this.
I'm going to leave it there.
So you have a bad association with strawberries. It's not that you don't like the taste. It's that you have a bad association.
I now have a new worst Thanksgiving memory. It's right now.
Let's just say strawberries and Byron.
Right. Can I change my answer to the worst Thanksgiving memory?
Final answer now.
It's live.
Okay.
It's live.
We'd like to tell Byron's family, who's not been inviting him, good call.
The struggle is real. And now.
I ran out of medication this morning. It's all good. All right. So we know your cake. No, your pie.
Pie.
Cake. I'm pie as well.
All right, so now we're doing flavors.
Favorite pie at Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
Like if it doesn't show up, you're angry.
If pecan pie does not show up at Thanksgiving, it's not Thanksgiving.
Right.
I mean, I love apple pie too.
Who doesn't want to drink Kiro?
Thank you for saying it correctly.
Pecan.
I know you live down in South
Pecan.
Florida. Oh, what?
Pecan is the way I.
What's the other word for
what?
Carbonated drinks.
It's not
Coke.
pop.
It's Coke.
Right.
No.
I don't even refer to it as soda. Every soft drink is a Coke.
Amen.
I love you, man.
Final answer.
Pecan.
Probably pumpkin. Pumpkin pie. Real whipped cream in the cold bowl in the fridge that you just pass by with a spoon and dollop in your mouth.
There's something about the nutmeg in a pecan. Is it a nutmeg in a pumpkin pie? Oh.
It's something else.
So mine, totally left field. You might have never even heard of it. It's called
strawberry rhubarb.
Chocolate chess.
Don't like that. Do love that. Egg custard pie.
Yeah, that's not going down my throat.
Do you like creme brulee?
No.
That's my favorite dessert of all time.
Yeah.
Tiramisu.
Egg custard pie is like an entire...
And yours is strawberry shortcake?
Strawberry shortcake.
It is like...
Strawberry shortcake, not with angel food cake. I've had it with angel food cake. Not good. Strawberry shortcake done with the right... It's massive.
Is it... Do you like those little preformed bowl things? No. It's got to be...
There are some restaurants that serve it that way, and it's good. My older sister, BB, we call her, she made the best strawberry shortcake I've ever eaten. She used to make it for me on my birthday every year.
That's awesome.
It's been a long time.
Fantastic.
Well,
so
BB, you owe me. You owe me a strawberry.
Yeah, we need that down here for Fallen Free too.
Let's talk about Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Let's talk about Thanksgiving. And I'm just going to ask the question. That's always asked, but I know around this table, profundity is headed our way. So, what are you guys thankful for right now? Like, I never thought that would happen for me, to me, can't believe I have that, so on and so forth. Like, you picked up the phone to call your best friend and say, you'll never believe. Maybe it hasn't happened to that level, but...
I think the thing I've been most grateful for, most thankful for over the last 5 or 6 years, to be honest with you, is just life. I was dead in the water 10 years ago.
Yeah.
No hope, no light at the end of the tunnel. I remember when Stacy and I first moved to Jupiter and we were going to start the sanctuary. And up until that point, we had been traveling so much, and I was traveling, speaking. We didn't really feel like we had a home. And we rented this tiny little 1,200 square foot, 1,100 square foot villa. Old, near the beach, so we love that. Old, dated. And I remember waking up the next morning, the first morning, in the shower. I mean, our bathroom was so small, Stacy and I could barely both get in the bathroom at the same time. And I remember standing in this tiny shower, taking a shower, and I start crying. And I think, God, I am so grateful for a roof over my head, a wife that loves me, kids who respect and adore me, a grandson, 2 at the time, grandsons that I'm close to. I was finally back on the southeast coast of Florida, which was home for me. I had been gone for 4 or 5 years. And from that point forward, since we moved to Jupiter, and I now feel like I have a home, a purpose, a job, all that stuff, friends, community, roots, I can't get past the gratitude.
Can you remember when you thought that you would never have that again?
Oh my gosh. Many, many moments I felt like that. Mm-hmm. I felt like that for a couple years. Yeah. And life looks different now than it did. And there are a lot of things about my former life that I miss. I was the guy who had this dream of being 80 years old, sitting on the beach with the wife of my youth, surrounded by our kids, grandkids, maybe even great-grandkids at the time. My wrinkled hand, grabbing her wrinkled hand, looking at her and saying, there were times when I didn't think we'd make it, but here we are. That dream is shattered for me.
Right.
Thank God for my wife, Stacy. Thank God for my kids. Thank God for the blended family that I have. But that original dream is shattered. And as it shattered, and as I reflected on the fact that scenario would never happen, things like that caused me to be very depressed, despairing, hopeless. And now I love the life that I have. I love the people in my life. I love where I live. I love what I do. And I never in a million years ever thought that I would feel about life the way I feel about life now, post crashing and burning, post bottoming out, which I think should give hope to someone who is now where I was 8 years ago, thinking my life is over, or I'm never going to enjoy life again. So I am filled with gratitude. God is so much more gracious and so much more loving and so much more giving than I ever thought. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me.
Thanks for sharing, man. Great answer.
Yeah, I'm super mindful when you said that of the fact that there are men and women in a hotel room, in that 1-bedroom apartment, that are going, this Thursday is going to be the worst Thanksgiving I've ever had.
Yes.
That ball is teed up, and you're
maybe the first Thanksgiving post-divorce.
Alone, right? They're gone, and it doesn't matter how they're gone.
Yeah.
Death, sadness, divorce, it just hurts.
Yeah.
And I know for me, I would sit there and in true Thanksgiving fashion, just marinate in my own sorrow. Mm-hmm. I hope for them, either there's somewhere you can find people to serve, because that's the fastest way for me to get over my self-loathing, is to go find somewhere to serve people, or to take the risk of saying to somebody, I am actually alone Thursday.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard.
Yeah.
I would love to sit at the table. Can I bring, I can't sit in my apartment and watch the parade and the Cowboys by myself.
I sat on my balcony of my 2-bedroom apartment in Orlando, Florida, Christmas Day, 2015, all alone. for the entire day. It will go down in history as the second worst day of my life. The first was sitting down and telling my kids I had cheated on their mom.
Right.
Second is Christmas Day 2015. And what I would say to people is post-trauma, whatever that trauma may be, in my case, a broken marriage, a broken family, traditions that had been established during the holiday season for years, I'm now not experiencing. Traditions that I helped get off the ground, I'm now not experiencing. Is that there will be holidays that feel like that. It's probably only been in the last 3 years for me, as Stacy and I have established new traditions for our family, that I even like holidays. Holidays were always, specifically Thanksgiving and Christmas, were always my most painful days after I got divorced for years.
What was the thing Paul Zoll said to you? I love the sentence. I'm going to memorize it. But when he said to you after you had sent him the text, the 5-hour text, what was it that he said to you?
I sent him a short text asking him to give me one good reason to keep living.
Right.
And it took him 5 hours to respond because he was praying through what to say, knowing it could quite literally be a matter of life and death. And he responded and said, Tullian, the purpose behind the suffering you are going through is to kick you into a new freedom from false definitions of who you are.
Man, I hope that resonates with the person that's alone. I think for me, the thing I'm most thankful for, I know in next season we're going to talk a little bit about shame. I know that. But the difference between guilt and shame is that what you do is you feel guilty for. But if you become the bad thing you've done, that's where the shame kicks in. And I know when you talked about, your story, you ended it with that amazing quote of all the sad things coming untrue. I think for me, what I find myself thankful for is that those people in my tribe, the people that will sit around the Thanksgiving table with me, do not associate me with everything that I've done.
Yes, that's a good.
They have embraced the narrative that there is more to me than what I have done.
Yeah, that's good.
And when you sit with people like that, there's nothing.
It's life-giving.
It's life-giving.
It's funny you mentioned that, John, because as you're saying that, I'm thinking about. And I mean, we're real on this podcast, so I'm just going to say it. I think about my family looking at me, and I get it. When I did talk to Scott, who I mentioned, I said, "Where were you, dude? Where were you?" And he said, "We didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say," which is fair. Gives me sympathy towards them, but what I did and who I am has collapsed in their mind. It's one in their mind. It's separated in mine. But as far as what I'm thankful for, the reason that resonates is two things. I have not lived the worst life. I have not suffered the greatest comparatively to everybody. It's always disproportionate in our own minds and experiences. And I don't want to give that impression. Great kids, ride or die. All three of them are just fantastic and awesome, and I will see them, in this season. But as I think about myself, which I'm prone to do, right? And I think about what I'm thankful for, it's this. If the majority of people that I know, if they were in my seat right now, like where I am in life, they would be totally panicked. It could happen. A lot of pressure. A lot of stress in that spot. For a season I'm not. And it's the oddest thing. I'm at.
Wait till the drugs wear off.
Right. And true. Like there is a time like, am I being reckless or irresponsible or I'm not just thinking about it?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Or did I get hit in the head? Like what's going on? Like, it's not like laissez-faire. It's more like, the Lord's got me.
Yeah.
He's done great things. I mean, I'm here. Jean called me. Craig Dixon fixed my serpentine belt. I mean, there are all these things that have happened in my life, and I've prized that. Like I prize it. I think it's, in many respects, it's what everybody who has everything is after, and it's what people who have nothing kind of get.
Yeah.
Because it's all they've got, sort of space. I'm thankful for it, and I'm fearful of losing that sort of thing. The other thing I'm thankful for is my older sister, Stacy, who I didn't see for 27 years because she was addicted to drugs, substance use disorder, in and out of treatments and stint in prison. Nobody knew where she was for a long time. And it was boundaries and bridges, right? You had to put up boundaries with them because they'll destroy you if you get near them, swimming out to a drowning victim, get your nose broken. But the bridges are grace. And I always had the bridge there for her, you know. But still, we didn't talk for a long time. And I was working with a company, contracted with a company to do some consulting, and she found me on the website, started leaving voicemails at the company, like, oh, here she goes again.
Right.
Sending me letters. Didn't even read it. Like, I've been through this, you know, been through this story so many times. And I went to see my mom one day. I knew that she might be there. And at this point, I was like, Byron, she's the only person that's going to hug the leper. Like, let's go. And somebody said this earlier, something to this effect. They're not seeing me. Never associate me with mistakes that I've made or decisions. She's that person. So I pull up at my mom's house, and this 57-year-old woman comes running out the door. I'm her only fully biological sibling. And biological father's died, stepfather's died, mom's about to die. It becomes obvious in that moment. She runs out, bear hugs me, just starts weeping. And I knew in that moment she was back and this was real. And she, grabs me by my face. She was a great older sister while she was in her right mind. And she said, I'm so proud of you. And she said, and I've Googled your name. Literally said that, and I'm proud of you. Don't listen to any of that shit.
That is so good.
So she went through treatment again, gets out of treatment, goes into a halfway house, enters into a program to work, and is literally managing a car wash in a small town in Mississippi, which exponentially smaller.
Right.
But is the happiest, most peaceful and contented human being on the planet. So I went to stay with her at her apartment, and across the street from her apartment. You know where Boswell Mental Hospital, you ever heard of that? Mentally ill adults are there. And, high-functioning autistic adults and that sort of thing. They live in the strip of apartments across from her. And she comes out of her house to greet me when I pull up, and they're all on their porch. And they're going, Stacy! Like, they just love her. And I'm like...
That's awesome, dude.
Of course, I didn't know who they were at the time,
Wow.
but I was like, how far has she come that when she comes out of her house, people are applauding her? What is this?
That's awesome.
But she served them and loved them, and I stay with her. And as they say in the South, she didn't have a pot to piss in, right? And she had gone, before I got there, to Walmart and had remembered all the things I liked as a kid. She didn't have anything. She didn't have any money, really, at all. Counters loaded with it, all this stuff. And we shared memories that night, and we worked through our trauma together as children and the stuff that had happened with my mom and her mental illness. Had all these pictures of ourselves and all this stuff. And then I went to leave the next day. And she's like, do you need money? Can I give you money? What? What are you talking about? And I said, Stacy, you're my fam. You're my family. You're my people.
I can't not say it. I'm sitting here listening to this, and I hear in my head Jesus saying, Simon.
Yeah, it was.
Since I entered the house, this woman has not stopped wetting my feet with her tears. So who loves much has been forgiven.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, absolutely.
She is the
well
least
said, man.
least judgmental person, and I'm not there yet, but she convicts me so much of people that even judged her. So, what I'm grateful for is I will be spending Thanksgiving in McGee, Mississippi.
Happy Thanksgiving, Stacy.
People from the Boswell Mental Hospital next
Love it.
door. Who knows? Who knows?
And I mean, Stacy, wherever you are.
Yep.
Where?
McGee, Mississippi.
McGee, Mississippi. I've never met her. I love her.
Yep.
Seriously. Who doesn't need those people in our life? And when you're telling the story, I'm like, I want to be that.
Yeah.
More
100%.
and more. And how much more beautiful and redeeming and life-giving is a posture like that toward a fallen person than a stone thrower.
What would Jesus do? He'd pretty much be like Stacy at this point, in my
He'd be
opinion.
eating Thanksgiving dinner
Yeah.
at Stacy's.
Yeah.
It's an incredible thing. Well,
Love it.
wishing you to a happy holiday and Thanksgiving,
Same.
and wishing our listeners
Yes.
a happy Thanksgiving
Yep.
as well. And we want to sign off with this. No matter how crazy your family is, no matter how crazy your life is, no matter how much the holiday season you're about to step into triggers you, brings back memories, and causes struggles in you, and you may not fit into that category. Things may be great, and we rejoice in you as well. In both cases, just remember, it is finished.
Amen.
Amen.
You've been listening to the Misfit Preachers. Like, subscribe, and share. More grace-centered resources at prodigalpodcasts.com. That's Prodigal, Prodigal, podcasts with an S.com.